The Uncharted franchise is one of the most beloved and critically acclaimed series in modern video game history. Developed by Naughty Dog and debuting in 2007, it follows the globe-trotting, swashbuckling adventures of treasure hunter Nathan Drake, a man with a sharp wit, an obsession with ancient myths, and an uncanny ability to survive impossible situations. Over four mainline entries and a major standalone spin off, Uncharted has become synonymous with cinematic storytelling, exotic exploration, and character driven drama. It's Indiana Jones meets Tomb Raider, wrapped in PlayStation polish. Each game took players through different legends and locations, from the lost city of El Dorado in the Amazon to Shambhala in the Himalayas, Iram of the Pillars in the Rub al Khali Desert, and eventually the pirate utopia of Libertalia in Madagascar. But while the series was always about epic discoveries, at its heart it was about relationships, particularly the ones between Nathan, his mentor Victor Sullivan, his on-again off-again partner and eventual wife Elena Fisher, and his long-lost older brother Sam Drake. Which brings us to Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, released in 2016. This final mainline installment was more reflective, grounded, and personal than its predecessors. It dealt heavily with themes of identity, addiction to adventure, and the difficulty of leaving behind a dangerous but exhilarating past. Nate, now retired from treasure hunting, is living a quiet life with Elena when Sam suddenly reappears after 15 years in prison, dragging him back into one final expedition to uncover the long-lost pirate colony of Libertalia, founded by Henry Avery and other legendary outlaws. The journey is intense and often brutal, testing Nate's loyalty, Elena's patience, and Sam's obsession. In the end, after near-death encounters, betrayals, and discoveries, Nate chooses to walk away from the life of treasure hunting. He saves Sam, reconciles with Elena, and finally finds peace. Not in gold or glory, but in family and stability. But it's the epilogue of Uncharted 4 that truly matters for our topic today. Set 15 years later, the epilogue shows us the Drake family living by the beach in a peaceful coastal home. Players control a teenage girl named Cassie, Nate and Elena's daughter. She explores their home, finds relics and journals from her parents' past adventures, and becomes increasingly curious about who they really were. Eventually, she confronts them. In a quiet, intimate moment, Nate and Elena sit her down and tell her the truth. They were once adventurers, treasure hunters, people who sought out danger and history in equal measure. And they pass that story on to her, not just as memory, but as inheritance. It was a beautiful, unexpected ending, one that closed the door on Nathan's story, while opening another, completely new one. And that's where we begin today. We're diving even deeper into the rumblings surrounding Uncharted 5, with leaks, job listings, community speculation, and one very intriguing PS5 trailer. There's a growing sense that the world of Uncharted isn't quite finished. But the real question that's come to dominate fan discussions isn't just if the game is coming, it's who will take the lead. And all signs point to one name, Cassie Drake. In this video, we'll explore the strongest arguments for why Cassie is the perfect successor to Nathan, unpack the creative strategy behind this potential shift, and imagine what a new era of Uncharted could look like. Let's start with what we know. Naughty Dog has confirmed that they're working on multiple new projects, but only one of them, The Heretic Prophet, a narrative sci-fi IP, is officially public. That project seems to be years away from release, which leaves open the question, what else are they working on? A growing number of indicators suggest that Uncharted is quietly being revived in parallel. In 2023, PlayStation released a promotional video showcasing several upcoming PS5 experiences. Tucked within was a mysterious scene, a young woman holding a torch deep in a cavern. No branding, no dialogue, just mood, mystery, and unmistakable Uncharted energy. Fans quickly speculated that this could be our first glimpse of Uncharted 5, with the torchbearer being none other than Cassie Drake. But that trailer isn't the only clue. Job listings from PlayStation's visual arts group over the past year have referenced work on a beloved franchise, in collaboration with one of Sony's top studios. The project calls for advanced narrative design, cinematic animation, and high-fidelity performance capture, everything that defines an Uncharted game. At the same time, key figures from Naughty Dog's history have begun resurfacing. Shauna Skag, who led the acclaimed Lost Legacy spin-off, has reappeared in studio communications and industry interviews. Meanwhile, Neil Druckmann has stepped back from hands-on direction, taking a broader creative oversight role, which could signal a strategic handoff of Uncharted to a new generation of storytellers. And that brings us to Cassie Drake, Why her? Why now? Why would she be the perfect person to take this iconic franchise forward? First, there's a clear narrative setup. Cassie isn't a retcon, a side character, or a random invention. She's canon. We met her in the epilogue of Uncharted 4, 15 years after the events of the main story. She's curious, intelligent, and clearly inherited her father's sense of adventure, even if she doesn't yet know the full extent of his past. Her presence wasn't an accident. That entire final sequence is a passing of the torch, both emotionally and narratively. Nathan and Elena tell her the truth, and in doing so, they open a door to new stories. That scene was the writers signaling, there's more to come, and it begins here. But more than narrative setup, Cassie fits perfectly within the thematic DNA of Uncharted. The series has always been about legacy, literal and metaphorical. Sir Francis Drake's ring, the clues left behind by Marco Polo, Lawrence of Arabia, Henry Avery. Every game is about tracing the footsteps of the past, so it makes perfect sense for the protagonist to now trace the footsteps of her own father. Cassie's journey could be the culmination of the series' most persistent question: what does it mean to inherit history, and what do you do with it? There's also precedent for strong female leads within the franchise. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, featuring Chloe Fraser and Nadine Ross, was a critical and commercial success. It proved beyond doubt that the series could thrive outside of Nathan's perspective. Players loved the tonal shift, the new dynamics, and the tighter narrative focus. Cassie wouldn't just continue that evolution, she'd deepen it. Unlike Chloe, Cassie is tied directly to Nathan's emotional arc. Her story carries a sense of familial weight that no previous character could fully access. Another factor is audience growth. The core Uncharted audience, many of whom started with Drake's Fortune in 2007, has matured. They're older now, and some of them have kids. Introducing Cassie allows the story to reflect that shift. She speaks to a younger, more tech-native generation of players, while also appealing to longtime fans who want to see the series grow with them. Cassie is both a mirror and a bridge, connecting old fans with new ones, and nostalgia with forward motion. And then there's the fan response. Across Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, and even deviant art communities, Cassie has already been embraced. Fans are drawing her, writing about her, theorizing her backstory. Reddit polls consistently show a majority in favor of a Cassie-led sequel. Comments like, "I'd love to see Cassie take over," or "She deserves her own journey," dominate fan discussions. This isn't just passive approval, it's active anticipation. The community is ready, and more importantly, they're excited. From a development perspective, the timing also makes sense. Naughty Dog has been gradually moving toward a multi-project studio model where different internal teams work semi-independently. While Druckmann and company focus on the Heretic Prophet, a smaller, focused Uncharted project could be helmed by returning creatives like Eskij, or even a new team under Sony's expanding production structure. In fact, using Cassie as a new lead offers a kind of creative freedom. Writers and designers could reimagine the tone, pacing, and mechanics without alienating players attached to Nathan's arc. It's a clean slate that still honors the past. So what would that look like in gameplay terms? First, we can expect movement and traversal to be even more fluid. Cassie could bring parkour mechanics into the series more prominently, running walls, sliding through tight ruins, using ropes, zip lines, and maybe even grappling devices to navigate vertically dense environments. Second, her generational difference could allow for deeper integration of technology. Perhaps she uses smart tools to solve puzzles, drones to scout ruins, 3D scanners to reconstruct broken relics, or digital maps linked to ancient languages. This wouldn't make the game sci-fi, it would make it feel modern, grounded in Cassie's world. Combat could also evolve. Cassie likely wouldn't be a carbon copy of Nathan. Her fighting style might rely more on agility, stealth, and creative takedowns. And puzzle design could reflect her mindset: observant, deductive, patient. Just like Nate's puzzles reflected his love of history and mythology, Cassie's could reflect a generational curiosity shaped by science, symbolism, and maybe even psychological insight. And beyond mechanics, tone matters. A Cassie-led Uncharted game could start quieter, more introspective. It could focus on family, loss, identity, before blossoming into the grand adventure we expect. There's something incredibly powerful about watching a character choose the life their parents once tried to leave behind. So to bring it all together, Uncharted 5 is still unconfirmed, but it feels increasingly inevitable. Naughty Dog is shifting, growing, exploring, and Cassie Drake, She's not just the next logical step, she's the best possible one. A narrative successor, a thematic evolution, a chance for the franchise to rediscover itself in the hands of someone who was born into it. What do you think? Is Cassie the right choice? Would you follow her across ancient temples, lost cities, and perilous ruins? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if this video got you thinking. And stay tuned. The next deep dive will explore the locations, mythology, and historical references that could shape Cassie's first solo adventure. Until then, stay curious,